It started with a scream. A scream that no one should have heard because the hospital had been abandoned for 20 years. Let's start. When I first heard about St. Mary's General, I thought it was just another urban legend, one of those old, crumbling hospitals people claim is haunted, where thrill seekers go for photos and leave with stories. But I wasn't looking for thrills. I was looking for the truth. I'm a freelance investigator for a podcast called Echoes of the Dead, and our next episode was titled Places That Never Let You Leave. It was my job to go inside, alone, and document everything I could. The hospital stood at the edge of a forgotten town, about 3 miles off the main highway. The locals warned me not to go. An old mechanic named Russell had said, "You won't hear the screams until it's too late." I laughed it off at the time. When I arrived just before dusk, the place looked like a carcass of concrete, and glass windows shattered, vines crawling up the walls. A giant red cross faded almost to nothing. The air smelled of rust, wet dust, and something faintly sweet, like antiseptic that had gone bad. I parked my car near the front entrance and started recording. "This is Alex Carter," I said into my mic, "and I'm standing outside the infamous St. Mary's Hospital, closed in 2003 after a massive fire. Locals say patients and staff still roam its halls. Tonight, we'll find out the truth." The main doors were locked with rusted chains, but I found a side window already broken. I slipped through, scraping my arm on the glass. Inside, everything was frozen in time. Old wheelchairs sat in corners. A gurney lay overturned. A calendar on the wall still showed May 2003. My flashlight beam wavered as I stepped deeper in. The silence was thick, almost alive. Every sound, the creak of my boots, the drip of water echoed endlessly. Then I saw something, a single light flickering at the end of the corridor. It shouldn't have been possible. There was no power. "Maybe a squatter," I whispered into my mic. But deep down, I knew something felt off. The flickering light came from behind the double doors of what used to be the ICU. I pushed them open, and the smell hit me first, metallic and sour. Blood. Old blood. My flashlight revealed a room full of hospital beds, most of them rusted and empty. But on one of them, someone had carved words into the metal frame. "Help US, still here." I felt my chest tighten. I told myself it was a prank, kids, maybe, but the grooves looked old, deep, made long before the hospital shut down. Suddenly, a sharp crack came from behind me. I turned, my light caught movement, something white darting past the door. I ran into the hallway, heart pounding. Nothing, just peeling paint and empty air. "Okay, that's fine," I said, trying to calm my voice for the recording. "Probably an animal." But the corridor ahead looked different now, longer, like it stretched much further than before. My steps echoed endlessly, but the exit signs above the doors had vanished. I checked my phone for GPS. It showed no signal. My compass spun in circles. That's when I saw her. A woman in a nurse's uniform, standing at the far end of the hallway. Her cap was tilted, her hands clasped in front of her. For a second, I thought she was a mannequin until she turned her head toward me. Her eyes were black, not shadowed, completely black. I froze. She raised one finger and beckoned me, slowly, silently. Then she turned and walked through a doorway. I wanted to run, but I needed the story. I followed. The room she entered was an operating theater. The rusted surgical table sat under a broken light fixture. Instruments still lay scattered, scalpels, clamps, and one recorder labeled Patient 407. I pressed play. Static, then a voice, trembling. "Dr. Wilson, we can't stop it. They keep waking up. Even after the sedatives, even after the..." A scream cut through the tape, followed by a sound like someone dragging metal across the floor. Then silence. I turned to leave and saw fresh footprints on the dusty floor. Bare feet, small, like a child's. The prints led toward the morgue. My breathing quickened, fogging up my recorder mic. "I'm heading toward the basement area," I whispered, following what appeared to be... I stopped. There were whispers. Not one, but many, dozens of them, whispering words I couldn't understand. They came from the vents, the walls, everywhere. Then a light flickered behind me, again the nurse, this time closer. I could see her face stretched, skin too pale, eyes empty like burnt sockets. She raised her hand again, pointing toward the morgue door. The whispers grew louder until they sounded like screams underwater. I didn't want to go, but my body moved on its own. I walked down the stairs into the dark. My flashlight flickered, then died. I used my phone's light, dim and trembling. The air was colder now, thick with rot. The morgue drawers lined the walls, many still sealed, others left half open. Then one moved, slowly sliding open by itself. I stepped closer. Inside lay a body bag, gray, unzipped halfway. I pulled it open and saw my own face. Eyes closed, lips pale, the same jacket I was wearing, the same scrape on my arm from the window. I stumbled back, gasping. This isn't real." My recorder crackled. A voice came through, not mine. "Alex Carter. Patient 407. Time of death, 9:43 p.m. I dropped it. My flashlight rolled across the floor, its beam catching movement. One by one, the morgue drawers were sliding open. Hands, arms, faces emaciated, burned, twisted. Patients in gowns crawling out, whispering, "Stay with us, we need another." I bolted for the stairs, but the nurse was standing at the top, blocking the exit. Her face melted into something skull-like. "You signed in," she hissed. "You never signed out." She lunged. I swung the flashlight at her, but it passed right through. The next thing I knew, everything went black. When I woke, I was outside. Morning sunlight hit my face. My car was still there, the engine cold. I grabbed my recorder, it was still running. The last thing it had captured was my voice screaming. I drove away, didn't look back. But 3 days later, my producer called me, panicked. "Alex, what the hell is this?" he said. "We got your audio, but it's not your voice. It's a woman's, whispering." He sent me the file. I listened. After my scream, there was silence. Then, faintly, a voice said, "Patient 407, admitted." And at the very end, you can hear something else. Footsteps, walking toward the recorder. Then, my own voice, whispering, "I told you, they never let you leave." The end.